Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how you can use your Coiling Gizmo tool, and I'm going to be demonstrating these three different coils here. So this is the basic one where you just have a single coil and it turns into this kind of spring, just like that. Then you have this one which is a double coil, so this is basically the original coil but then coiled again, so it can end up looking something like this. And then finally here we have a triple coil, so this is where you take the double coil and then coil that one again, so you can get a completely different look. It's a little bit more like ruffles. So these are just kind of the basic ones. You can do loads of different more things with the tool and experiment with it. You can use these on their own, so little beads or something, or incorporate them into your projects. So what we're going to do is have a little look at the tool, and then I'm going to be demonstrating for you. So this is then your tool, and it's just come packaged like this. This is the deluxe one, so this is the one that comes with 5 size rods, and then also your actual gizmo there, your clamp. Then we take it out, and here we have all our rods, and then also the bracket and clamp itself looks like that. So this is the one, you take this, undo this however much you need to, and you put this onto an edge of a table, and then you obviously tighten it back up to make sure it's nice and tight and secure to work with. Then up here, this is kind of the main part you're going to be working with then. You have these little holes on the side. This is then where you take your rods, and like I said in this one you get 5, so you actually have 5 different sizes. You get a really thick one, and then next size down, the middle one, and then you get 2 really thin ones as well. So this is the second smallest, and then the very smallest one is also quite a bit shorter because obviously it's not going to be as stable to be really long. But then you take one of your rods here that you want to work with, and then you have the different size holes. You then put your rod into the suitable size, just like that. And then this is basically just how the tool works, and then you want to crank this around, and then you grow your gizmo coil like that with your wire obviously. So this is then how the tool looks. So what I'm going to do now is show you how it's set up, and then also how you can use it. So to demonstrate with here, I'm going to be using the middle sized rod, and then I'm just going to be putting this into the hole that it fits into on the bracket here. You see it goes through both sides. And then you're going to need to get the wire out that you want to use to coil with. That's what I have here. What I recommend most of the time is if you can, leave it on the reel. Makes it much easier to coil. And also, you'll very rarely know how much wire you'll need to coil your piece here. So then we just take the end of the wire and just wrap it around the handle here a few times. And then you'll have the long end of your wire, if it's attached to your reel, just coming straight downwards next to the product itself. So then all we need to do to start coiling our wire here is you always want to keep hold of your wire, so the long end, and then you just want to start turning your handle. So that's really all there is to it. Now you're not pulling on the wire particularly here, so the long length that we're coiling with. You just want to kind of have a bit of tension in there. So just keep it up towards the side. You can also, once you get a bit more space where the tool goes away from the bracket, you can hold your wire against the side there, but just keep coiling. And then try and have your handle here pressed in towards the bracket when you do it, because that way you'll make sure to get a nice and even coil. And you just keep going, you can see it grows. And then once you get comfortable with it, you can really pick up some speed. And it'll go really quickly compared to doing all this coiling by hand. And then what you'll find that if you then have a bit of spacing, you do some coiling where you get some spacing here, just like that, what you can do is just take the handle and press it against the bracket, and then it gets nice and tight again. You just want to keep coiling. And also, if you end up overlapping your wire, so basically your wire goes back on itself, you can see like that, all you do is just let go of the handle and gently pull it out until it's nice and even again, and then you can pick it back up again, and then keep going for however long you need your coil to be. And you can do this with pretty much any size and thickness of wire. And it's just going to be so much faster than doing it by hand, like I said. So this is how you do your basic coil. So once you kept going making your coil here and you take it off with a rod, then this is what it should look like. So it's quite flexible here, as you can see. But obviously you don't want to squish it or anything because that will defeat the point of what's the purpose of it. But you get this really nice, tight, very usable coil. So you can use this for loads of different things. And also we can take it to some more steps, which I'm then going to show you now. So what I've done is I've already prepared a long coil here for us to use for the next step. And this one I just made the full length of the rod. So it's obviously the longest you can go. And what I'm going to do is take another length of wire. This is still attached to my reel. I'm just using the same gauge and the kind that I used to make the coil itself. You can use a different gauge. You can also put a thicker gauge through. It all depends what you want to use it for. But I'm going to take the end of this, and before we start doing anything, I want to feed this coil that I've already prepared onto my length of wire that's attached to the reel. So just feed it on there, put the wire through the coil, and so it comes out at the other end there. And then you can just, for now, drop it down. Let it fall down a bit here. Because then what we need to do is the same thing with this end of the wire. And I'm going to use my rod here, put it in to the bracket, and again we just need to attach this end so we can securely use the tool. You just go around the handle again, just a couple of times, it's plenty, like that. And then before I start adding in the finished coil that I've already made, I just want to do a couple of coils on its own here to kind of just get it started off. Get a little bit of spacing, so just something like this is fine. Then what I'm going to do is grab the length of coil that we fed onto the bare wire and feed it up here. And then what I'm doing at the bottom, I'm actually holding this. So I'm holding around the wire and pushing this upwards like that, so it's not obviously falling down. And you want to keep having that pushed upwards, so giving some tension up towards the tool. And then I'm going to keep coiling here, and then you'll see what's going to happen. We're going to get a coil there, but then the finished coil that we fed onto is going to get incorporated, and then it can end up, it's going to give a completely different look. Just make sure it coils the right way around, like that. And I'm going to end up having this coiled coil, and it gets a really nice effect here. You can see, I'm going to use the whole length, continue to push it up from the bottom and get a nice even tension on it. Getting towards the end, you can see it's coming up here. I keep pushing it upwards right till the end, and then at the end again I want to always just finish off with a couple of coils with just the bare wire there. So there we go. And then we have a coiled coil. So we took one length of coil, put it on a piece of wire, and then coiled it again, and you can get this really nice and lovely effect. And then again, once you take it off the rod, it'll look something like this. So on its own it gives a really nice effect, but you can obviously then use this for loads of different things. You can make small ones and use them for beads if that's what you want to, or you can put, after doing this, more wire in between every single one of the coils here. So some bare wire, this bit maybe thicker gauge, some other colour wire, it will give a really nice effect as well. So what we can then do now is take it to the next step again. So I've already prepared another one of my double coils here. So I've coiled the first one and then I've coiled that one like I just showed you. So what we can do again is take this one and then coil that again, and that'll give a completely different look once more. So again what I do is then take another length of just bare wire. So I'm just going to be using the same one that I used to make this double coil, and it's still attached to the reel. And then what I'm going to do is feed this through the coil again, so the double coil there. We just place that double coil onto the wire. You can just let it drop down a bit. And again we start the exact same way. So I'll get my rod, in this case I'll step down one for making all these coils of this type. And then you want to just remember to attach your end of your wire, so we have somewhere to start off from. And once you've done that, again, same principle as before, we just need to do a couple of coils before we add in this double coil to it. So just something like this. And then it's the same principle. You bring up the coil that we need to coil now. So we're doing the triple coil pretty much. Bring that up, and again I'm pushing from the bottom upwards with my hand. And then you just want to start, continue coiling this, getting this to wrap around. It can be a little bit more tricky. You just have to put a little bit more tension into it, pushing up from the bottom there. And then you just keep going, and you can see it gives a completely different look. It wraps around in a completely different way here, because it's a double coil that we're then coiling again. So it kind of opens up in a completely different way. And then again at the end you do want to just do a couple of regular coils just to finish it off. And then there you go. Then that's your triple coil pretty much. You can see it just looks completely different, and this can both be nice in its own or within other projects as well. So again, I've taken it off the rod, and then it'll look something like this. So obviously you can only go as far with your coils as the actual length of the rods. This is something to bear in mind. But you can get these really cute little beads if you want to use them for that. This effect kind of gives a bit of like a frilly effect, I think. So you can use it to add onto other pieces as well. So these are all the different things, so the different levels of coils that you can do with your Gizmo coil, your Gizmo tool, using this bracket, and then with your different size rods as well. So these are then the 3 coils that I demonstrated to use the Coiling Gizmo for. So you got your basic one here, it's basically just like a spring. You can see there, and you can use this for lots of different things. Either use the coils on their own or put them into projects. And there you have the double coil. Gives a really nice effect, as you can see, and you can obviously make these different sizes depending on what wire you use, what thickness, but also which one of the rods that you use as well. And then the third one here, so the triple coil, you get a completely different effect again. So these are just the basic ones that you can do, but you can really play around with this and experiment and make so many more different things with this tool. It just makes it really easy and quick to do your coils, or double coils, or even triple coils here. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial and little demonstration, and thank you very much for watching. Hello there everyone. Today I'm going to talk about how to straighten your wire, and I'm going to give some examples of a few different ways that you can do this, so let's get on with it. So the first method that I'm going to go through is probably the simplest one as well, because we don't need any extra tools or anything, and that's just using your hands. Now this is the method that I find I use by far the most, and you can really use this in most cases. Now first off here, I just want to say the wire that I work with the most is plated copper wire. So this is a silver plated